What if I told you that right now, as you are reading this, there are microscopic clusters of cancer forming inside your body? It sounds like a death sentence, but for a physician who has spent 15 years in emergency medicine, I can tell you this is actually a normal part of human biology. With 40 trillion cells constantly dividing, photocopying errors in your DNA are inevitable. The great untruth we've been fed is that cancer is a game of genetic Russian roulette, that once those mutations happen, you are a passive bystander. But the hidden danger isn't the mutation itself, it's the fuel line. A microscopic tumor without a blood supply is harmless. It can't grow larger than the tip of a ballpoint pen. But the moment it hijacks your body's plumbing, it can explode to 16,000 times its size in just 14 days. Hi, I'm Dr. Brooks. After 2 decades in medicine, I've seen far too many patients battle this disease while being told that nutrition doesn't matter. Today, I'm going to act as the insider and show you what the peer-reviewed research in Nature and The Lancet has known for years. We are going to discuss the mechanism, how a process called angiogenesis acts as the on-off switch for tumor growth, the evidence, the shocking Harvard study that tracked how fast a tumor grows once it plugs in to your veins, the protocol, 7 specific anti-cancer foods, and the precise chemical preparation, like why you should never boil your broccoli, the mistakes, why a vitamin C pill will never replace the synergy of the whole fruit. To understand how to protect yourself, we have to look at the cellular level, at the Goldilocks zone. Your body is constantly growing new blood vessels, a process called angiogenesis, which simply means the birth of new vessels. You need just enough to heal a wound, but not so many that you feed a hidden enemy. Think of your circulatory system like a lawn. If the grass is too short, the soil dies. If it's too long, it's a weed-choked mess. Your body normally mows the grass perfectly. But cancer cells are master hackers. They release fertilizer proteins called growth factors that trick your body into building a private pipeline directly into the tumor. Research from Harvard Medical School using advanced imaging found that once a tumor becomes vascularized, meaning it hooks up to your blood supply, its growth rate isn't just fast, it's exponential. It goes from the size of a grain of rice to the size of a grape in 2 weeks. This is the point of no return for many aggressive cancers. But here is where the biology gets truly fascinating. We used to think only billion-dollar pharmaceutical drugs could block this process. However, when researchers tested common food extracts in the same lab assays used for cancer drugs, the results were staggering. Take green tea, for example. The polyphenols in green tea, specifically one called EGCG, were found to be as effective at starving abnormal blood vessels as some experimental chemotherapy agents. But green tea is just the beginning. There is a second, even more critical defense system we need to discuss: your DNA repair crew. Every day, your DNA takes hits from UV light, processed foods, and even your own metabolism. Think of your DNA as a high-traffic road. If you have a repair crew with plenty of asphalt, they fill the potholes, mutations, immediately. If the crew is starving, the road falls apart. I've looked at the data from the University of Oslo, and it changed how I look at the produce aisle. They found that one humble fruit, the kiwi, can actually boost your DNA repair capacity by 60%. It doesn't just prevent new damage, it helps your cells physically sew broken DNA strands back together. But to understand why the whole food is the only way to activate this, we have to look at the synergy principle. In the ER, I've seen countless patients who think they can out-supplement a poor diet. But the research from the University of Oslo showed that while a vitamin C pill is helpful, A single kiwi provides 60% more DNA repair capacity. Why? Because the fruit isn't just a delivery vehicle for one vitamin. It's a biological cocktail of polyphenols, flavonoids, and carotenoids that work together to supercharge the repair crew. This brings us to a great untruth I hear constantly, that your immune system is either good or bad based on your genes. After 2 decades in medicine, I can tell you that your immune system is a dynamic force that you can train every time you pick up a fork. Think of your immune system as a security patrol consisting of natural killer NK cells and T cells. These are the elite forces that identify a photocopy error cell and neutralize it before it ever asks for a blood supply. But these soldiers need rations. Researchers at the University of Auckland found that when athletes, whose immune systems are often suppressed by intense training, consumed just 1.5 cups of blueberries daily, their T-cell count skyrocketed by 88%. These weren't just healthier people, they had nearly double the amount of elite soldiers circulating in their blood, ready to hunt down abnormal cells. But there is a hidden player in this game that we are only now beginning to understand in the medical community: the microbiome immunity connection. There is a specific guardian bacteria in your gut called Akkermansia muciniphila. I've seen landmark research from the Gustave Roussy Cancer Center in France that analyzed 200 cancer patients undergoing immunotherapy. The results were chilling. The only significant difference between the patients who saw their tumors vanish and those who didn't respond at all was the presence of Akkermansia. This bacteria essentially primes your immune system to recognize cancer. If you don't have it, your elite soldiers are essentially blindfolded. But here is the insider secret. You can't just buy Akkermansia in a pill. You have to feed it. And the fertilizer it craves most: elagitannins, found in pomegranates and walnuts. Now, here is the mistake I see 90% of patients making. They think they are protecting themselves by avoiding soy. This is a massive medical misunderstanding. People tell me, "Dr. Brooks, I heard soy mimics estrogen and causes breast cancer." Let me be direct. The science says the exact opposite. Soy contains genistein, which at a molecular level actually blocks human estrogen receptors. More importantly, genistein is one of the most powerful anti-angiogenic substances ever tested. It shuts down the fertilizer signals, VEGF, that tumors use to grow blood vessels by over 70%. In countries with high soy intake, we see significantly lower rates of breast and prostate cancer. But to get these results, you need a precise protocol. It's not about eating healthy, it's about eating for biological leverage. Now, here is where we get into the how-to and the specific preparation methods that determine whether these compounds actually reach your cells or end up in the kitchen sink. To get these results, you cannot just eat more vegetables. You have to understand the preparation principle. In 15 years of medicine, I've seen patients undo all their hard work because they didn't know that the way you cook a food determines whether its anti-cancer compounds ever reach your bloodstream. Take broccoli, for example. The great untruth is that raw is always better. But the active compound, sulforaphane, is one of the most powerful phase 2 detoxification activators known to science. It's like a power wash for your DNA. However, boiling broccoli destroys the enzyme myrosinase needed to activate it. If you boil your broccoli, you are essentially eating fiber with zero medicinal value. The Brooks protocol for broccoli? Lightly steam it for exactly 3 to 4 minutes. This actually increases the bioavailability of sulforaphane. And if you want to 100x the power, look for broccoli sprouts. These 3-day-old seedlings contain 100 times the concentration of sulforaphane found in the mature plant. A small handful is worth pounds of regular broccoli. Then there is the tomato synergy. The anti-cancer compound here is lycopene. But lycopene is locked inside the cell walls of the raw tomato. To get it out, you must apply heat. Cooked tomatoes, in the form of sauce or paste, provide significantly more DNA protection than raw ones. And here is the insider trick. Lycopene is fat-soluble. If you eat tomato sauce without a healthy fat, it passes right through you. But if you add olive oil, you increase the absorption by threefold. This is how you engineer your meals for cancer defense. Here is your daily precision protocol. The DNA repairer. 1 to 3 kiwis daily. Eat the skin if it's organic. It's packed with extra fiber for that Akkermansia bacteria. The angiogenesis blocker. 3 cups of green tea daily. Steep for 5 minutes and add lemon. The vitamin C in the lemon stabilizes the EGCG, increasing its absorption by 6 times. Avoid dairy milk. The proteins bind to the tea and kill the benefit. The immune booster. 1 cup of blueberries daily. Frozen is often better because they are picked at peak ripeness when the blue anthocyanins are highest. The Guardian Feed. 4 ounces of pomegranate juice to feed your Akkermansia elite soldiers. Now, what should you expect? By week 4, you aren't just eating better, you are changing the systemic environment of your body. You are lowering the growth factors that tumors thrive on. By month 3, your DNA repair capacity is physically measurable in a lab. You are essentially rebuilding the roads of your genetic code, faster than the world can create potholes. One final note on safety. If you are on blood thinners like warfarin, check with your doctor before skyrocketing your intake of vitamin K-rich greens. For everyone else, this is the most empowering shift you can make. The hidden danger is thinking you are a victim of your biology. You aren't. Your body has the mower to cut down abnormal blood vessels, the soldiers to hunt cancer, and the repair crew to fix your DNA. You just have to give them the tools. Before you go, check if you're subscribed. This is the Investigative Clinician series, and we are just scratching the surface of how metabolic science can save your life. In our next video, I'm going to dive into the sugar-cancer connection and show you the 3 healthy fruits that might actually be fueling tumor growth. I want to know, which of these 7 foods are you going to add to your grocery list today? Let me know in the comments. I'm reading them to decide our next deep dive. Keep investigating, and I'll see you in the next one.